and welcome to another episode of Success Ladder Podcast. My name is Paul Bryan, and as you know, here at Success Ladder, we bring you stories, bring you conversations that inspire you as an individual, inspire the whole world, and even inspire organization. As all you want is to see you grow in all the aspects of your lives. And today I wanted to talk about something very instrumental, something very important, and that is mental health. And I'm not the one who's going to bring you all that conversation. So today I'm hosting a beautiful lady. She's a mental health expert. I don't know if that is the correct name, but she's gonna tell us more about that. Her name is Winnie Kabangi. And the last time I saw her, or the last time I checked whatever he was doing, she was a cyber security expert. But then she has integrated these two into one. So she's going to tell us more about that. But for now, Winnie, welcome to Success Ladder Podcast. So, because here we bring intelligent people. So that's why I don't say much about you, because intelligent people can talk about themselves. So who is Winnie?
Thank you for having me on today's podcast. We're going to talk about mental health. It's a topic that is very close to my heart. It determines on how someone presents themselves to the world. So I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to a good conversation.
Yeah. Amazing. You see, it's surprising because, but the one thing is that we used to work with Winnie in the same office doing cybersecurity. And then with time, I started seeing, before even left the organization, I started seeing her status. They were talking about more of mental health. And then someday, I was surprised to see her graduate with some certification in mental health, and started talking to her, asking her, oh wait, is this for someone else or for you? So Winnie, why cybersecurity, why mental health? Maybe let's not talk about cybersecurity. Why did you decide to do mental health? Is it because cybersecurity was not securing your mind, or what?
That's a good question. Professionally, I'm a trained cybersecurity specialist. That's my day job. But also mental health is very close to my heart, and I've taken to learning, advocating for those who cannot talk on their behalf, and also really participating in the field of mental wellness. It's a topic that is close to my heart because it also determines how people present themselves in the world, how they cope with their day-to-day activities, their productivity, basically just how they are as a human being.
Okay. So why did you decide to do it? Like, is there anything beside whatever you say that motivated you, that inspired you? In most cases, these extra things that we do, there are some things that actually happen in our lives, or we see them happen in other people's life, and then you see, you know what? I can be the change that the world needs. I can be the change that I can turn my story. I can be the change that somebody that is going through A, B, C, D can look up to.
Back in 2023, I lost my mom, and to me that was a life-changing moment. It brought the grief to my doorstep, and we always say, as long as you're not the one who's seated on the front row during the service, then mental health wellness will not really be much to you. So it's after that I looked into how we as a family, how we grieved and how we looked at things, our different perspectives in the family. Also, having seen people grieve around the office, it also spoke to me, how have they been handled in the office and how have they conducted themselves out there. I will talk briefly about grief because we know grief to be something that can show up at any moment in any aspect of your life, and you will not even know that is grief. Your grieving is part of your grief. It will just show up in a way. Personally, it took a while for me to completely come to terms and even accept to grieve my mother. So I think that what brought this this whole concept of mental wellness, and generally how you bounce back after a certain aspect in your life. Life happens to all of us, It does in many ways. You could be older, you could be younger, but that doesn't mean that life will not happen to you. And when it does, how you bounce back, that is what is going to make the difference. So that's why mental health is very key to me.
Yeah. You mentioned you losing your mom. I remember those days. I remember when we came for the funeral. I know before that happened, I told you about how close I was with my mom, and like how that journey is very, very tough. I looked at you, and I was in sorrow. I was in sorrow not because you lost your mom alone, but I was in sorrow because I saw a strong Winnie as I know her, a very strong lady. But deep inside, I was like, you know what, girl, you're not going to be strong after this. You can be strong because for me, it was an experience. I remember when I lost my mom, I was strong, and I tried to grieve. I grieved silently. I hide and cry. And when I saw you with a lot of strength, I know maybe somebody who has not experienced might have seen it in a different way, but for me, it was not a good thing for me. I wanted you to cry it out. I wanted you to grieve, because losing a parent, and especially a mother, and then just for your information, the two of us here, we are last ones. Yeah, that one had to come. Even if you say that, don't mention it. That one had to come. So your last one. So you see the attachment that you have with our mothers, with our parents, with our mothers. Yeah. So that was a big deal, and I'm glad that you took this initiative. I'm glad that you took this initiative from that angle, and today here you are, and it's a good thing, to say the least. It's a good thing for me, and I think I'm encouraged. So how has the journey been? I know you had classes learning about mental health. I know, did you seek advice actually? Because don't lie to us, I know it drained you. It's a heavy thing. It's something that will never go.
Sure.
That is one thing that we have to come to terms with. Maybe somebody outside there, whenever you see somebody lose people who are close to them, I know this world that you always say that, oh, it will be better, but I don't say that thing. Oh, it will be better when it will be better with time. It's always very hard, and losing a parent, losing a mother, but it doesn't get better. That thing, you're going to think about it and you'll be in tears. Me, I still cry to it. But how has the journey been when you started these classes?
So when I've just been looking through books, reading. I did some classes, some group classes, to just try and understand what was going on in me. How was I presenting myself? Being a mother, it was key that I am present for the children. Being a professional, I'm present in the office. So those things were key, and I also needed to know how to be functional, to be able to run my day-to-day life, make sure there is food on the table, make sure I'm done reports in the office. So that being part of it, I did some classes, as I had mentioned. Further, I read some books, I did some activities, and finally when one of our mental wellness coach talked about having some classes, then I was sure did join the classes. They lasted some 9 months. I learned a lot during that time about many things about mental wellness. Not to say the least, grief was one of them. Trauma was another topic we covered. Family and marriage. It was quite a diverse class. We learned a lot, and during that class, that's why I learned so much more about mental wellness. Yeah.
Speaking of mental wellness, we're just mentioning it. What actually is mental wellness? Because I think sometimes I cannot be okay mentally, and I might not know. So what is this mental wellness, and how do I I'm interested in how actually do I determine when I'm not mentally okay?
Yeah, so mental wellness is something that has been talked about by many other people. It's a subject that goes on, and sometimes there's stigma around it because probably prejudices that people hold or lack of understanding actually what's going on. So mental wellness is how you perceive, how you feel, how you process your day-to-day life, how you make your decisions, how you are in the community, how do you connect to the community. Community could be your family, your siblings, your colleagues, your neighbors. When you're taking a bus ride to town, how do you communicate to the people around you? All that constitutes of mental wellness. So it's a three-pronged subject that we can actually talk about because it mentions your physical wellness, how you are, your emotional well-being, and also how you show out in the community. So it's a subject that there's really much a lot to talk about because it affects so many things in our lives, including how we are as family members, how we are as friends, how we are as part of a community, who we are as spouses and siblings and parents. So it's our day-to-day life, how we show up in each and every person. Basically, it's how human we are. It's our daily human experiences. Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. You see, whenever we talk about community, whenever we talk about family, as you know, there is one book I'm writing. Maybe in 10 years, I don't know when I'll finish it, but I know I'm writing a book and it's talking about family. And for me, what I'm writing is I see family as the community that you're talking about. Every time you talk about family, people think that it's that my sister, is that my brother, is that my uncle, the nuclear family, or we are related in some blood type. But for me, I always take family as the community around me. Take an example. You're working, you wake up every day, prepare, go to the office. You get to the office, you'll take like 30 minutes, you settle, and then you are there in the office for, let's say, 8 hours, 9 hours. And then you go home in the evening. When you go home, you are there with your nuclear family, kind of, but just for a short period of time. When you get there, you want to see what are people eating, for example, and all that. And then the next thing, you are exhausted, you're going to sleep. Yeah. So actually, the most important family is that you have at work. If they can't give you enough peace, then you're going to have so many problems. So I agree with you. Community is very important. The family back at home, like those who share blood, I know they contribute a lot to our mental capability, our mental stability, rather. But now, how can I know, as Paul Brian, how can I know that I'm not mentally stable? Like, what are the reactions? You talked about I need to be okay physically, I need to be okay emotionally, and also I need to, how I relate with the community, my surrounding also defines my mental well-being actually. So how can I know that there's a problem somewhere that needs to be addressed? Because in most cases you realize that people don't accept that they are not mentally stable, and by the time they are coming to terms, they are coming to accept it, maybe the damage is extensive. So what are the signs, or how can I know that no, I need to do something, I'm not okay mentally?
Well, mental wellness shows up in many aspects. It could be in your emotions. For instance, it could be in your anxiety. You're feeling anxious about maybe something, maybe about work, about a project you're taking, probably about a situation at home or at school for the school goers. So it could be the anxiety. That's how it shows up. It could also be burnout for the family-oriented people. It could also be, and burnout also shows up in many ways. It could be running a business, and it's taking quite a toll on you, especially when you're solely running that business. Offices also can be heavy. Professions can also be heavy. So that can also be burnout. The other aspects that you can also look out is just generally what signals are your body giving. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling just depleted all the time? What are you feeling? Is it fear? Is it that pit in the stomach that you're feeling? What is it that it is? So your body will always give you signals of what it is. If it is burnout, you'll feel you need to slow down and just maybe take a while, and you need to take care of that, because it's part of who you are, and it's going to show up in the other aspects of your life.
True. So speaking about how we relate with our surrounding, to me that is, we are talking about emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence help in that scenario. What can you say about emotional intelligence and being well mentally?
So being well mentally generally speaks about how you feel, right? How your emotions come up, how you're able to handle difficult situations, even very happy situations. How do you handle that, and how do you bounce back from a difficult situation, or even from one extreme to the other? You'll find when some people are quite happy, they go to the extreme of probably doing some dangerous things. When some people are really sad or angry, some become quite violent. Some people become quite withdrawn from the society, from the people surrounding them. So it's in picking those small feelings, how you're feeling. It's monitoring your wellness, being aware of your situations where you are currently, being aware of what has been your day like, taking account of, I've had a rough morning, or did I have an easier day today, either at work or at school, or even, because wellness doesn't matter who you are, it's an aspect of us as human beings. It is in each and every one of us, and how we react, how we show up in our situations and our circumstances. So wellness is really taking care of yourself.
Thank you for those insights about the family perspective. Now here comes a very simple and very tough question. Balancing between when you need to prioritize yourself and when actually, again, you need to be part of the community, because sometimes people try so much to please people, to please the community, to an extent that they forget about themselves. So how do you balance between the two?
This is an area that has been riddled with the cliche, I can't fast, I have to take care of myself first. But the real reality about that aspect of balancing between community and self is that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if I am a priest, I cannot go to the altar and do blessings, but I haven't done the blessings myself. So I would have to work on myself first, and then I'm able to present myself to the community. And that is in many aspects, not only emotionally, it is also in other aspects of life, including financial and others. From a point of, I will take, for instance, being a parent. You're not able to be present for your children when you're running on low or when you're very empty for yourself. And this is where taking care of yourself emotionally, physically as a parent comes first, so that you're also able to be regulated and connected with yourself, and then you're able to show up for the children, you're able to show up for the spouse, you're able to show up with the nanny who is living with you, you're able to show up with the people living around you. So it starts from a point of first taking care of yourself, knowing is your not right, is your, have you done your spiritual part? Have you worked on yourself? Have you asked yourself the really tough questions? How am I feeling? How am I coping with this situation? How am I going to explain this to a child? If in the case of death, how do I have this discussion with my child? other than just going and spewing it, we lost someone so and so, and you don't know how they're going to have that reaction. So it is first filling your cup or having something in your cup before going to pour into the other people.
Okay. So apart from the family, this thing that is really draining so many people, and that's our workplaces. So you realize that the manager, maybe your manager, like the community at work, there is a lot of stress that comes with it, just because people actually lack emotional intelligence and lack care for other people. And you are torn between, sometimes you want to quit, but then again you ask yourself, you need that work for you to survive. If you quit it, it might even become more stressful than it is at that moment. So how actually do you deal with that, the workplace stress and all that?
That's a very good question, because workplace comes with its own share of troubles.
Yeah.
So to say, whether you're running a business or you're in employment, whatever side of the aspect you're looking at, mental wellness, awareness, and comes up a lot each and every day. It is also remembering between targets and pressure to perform and be productive, and also being a human being. It's quite a delicate balance, and in leadership, it's one of the aspects that is covered. How to balance being a human being and also to help these people around you to be productive.
Yeah.
So one of the key aspects in wellness is, and I always go to that bit, is self-awareness. You as a leader, you as a member, you as someone who is within a certain profession. It doesn't matter the profession, it doesn't matter the number of years you've been in a career, that is your experience. What matters most is how you're showing up. How are you handling pressure? How are you handling anger? How are you feeling rage? How that rage that you're feeling, how are you diverting it? How are you dealing with the anxiety that comes with work? It is when you know how to relate, how to deal with your emotions, that is when you're able to show up and to be authentic.
Yeah.
It is also understanding that, yes, I am feeling angry. I do not need to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
I also do not need to be rough with other people, but I can also be productive, even if I'm angered about a situation. It could also be a situation that makes you feel you're cornered or you're not in your best essence. It is knowing how to relate with people around you at that time, and that is how you're going to come out of it, how you're going to bounce back out of a situation. So it starts with yourself, being aware of yourself, your emotions, and how you're going to cope. If you don't know how to cope with certain situations, and things are hard. Anxiety, I don't think there's a school where we were taught how to relate with anxiety.
True.
So you have to learn how to cope. It's your self-initiative to learn how to cope with anxiety. It is part of life. It will never go. You're wondering, if it rains, will I get home on time? If this happens, will I be able to meet this report on time? That's anxiety showing up. How are you handling your anxiety, and then you still be productive? So it comes with learning how to cope with emotions, your feelings, and also being productive.
Wow. Amazing. Before I ask you the last question, aunties talk about kindness, because I think it plays a very key role when it comes to mental well-being. So how I can be kind to myself, and how I can be kind to the community, to the surrounding. Because one thing I always say, people are going through so many things. You're in a matatu, you meet people, you don't know what people are going through. Sometimes you just walk, even at work, people are coming from their houses. You can see them smile, but then again, people are going through so many things. So what can you say about kindness?
We are all human beings with our own sets of tribulations, just as you've alluded. And that comes with our responsibility as human beings to take care of the people around us. It is that one kind act that you do that you don't know how much it's going to transform someone's life. I'll give an instance. Sometimes back, I was working in an office where we are so many, and of course, we are different age groups in different age sets. And that particular day, I noticed that someone was very low.
Yeah.
You could tell there was no shine in their smile. Yeah. There was no, they were not themselves, basically. And as just a way of being kind to them, I just went to the desk and asked, how are you doing today? How are you coping today? How is the day treating you? And for sure, I received a reaction that I never expected. This person broke down because from what they could share, it had been a tough week, and it was the tail end of a very tough season in their life. And for me just to ask, how are you doing? Being someone who we really don't interact that much, it really made something for them. It meant something. So it's that small act of kindness. It doesn't matter what it is. It could even be buying someone mandazi, if your pockets allow. Yeah. It could even be just saying hi as you walk by someone. It changes how their day has been. Yeah. So it is a little act that you take. We are all human. It doesn't matter what level you are. It doesn't matter where you are in life. You could be 20, having a rough day. Yeah. You could be 40, you're doing a good high-flying career, but you're miserable. Yeah. So it is in the small things that we do, the small acts that we take that really change and define our humanness, because we are all humans.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. As we wind up, I know you'd mentioned about seeking professional advice. So maybe you have something to say about therapy?
Yeah, therapy works. I know there have been, for a while now, there have been a lot of stigma around therapy.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of talk, especially in the older generations.
Yeah.
I think the talk therapy was not very well socialized to that set of people, and you find most of them struggle with it. But with the younger generations, therapy is being well taken up by the younger generations, and that's a good thing because it helps them learn how to cope with life, especially where some things no one is skilled to deal with some things. You just have to learn as you go. Yeah. And therefore, therapy is one of those things that I do recommend. If you feel something is not working right, you don't know where to begin, look for a therapist. Yeah, talk to one. If you don't know how do I get this? Yeah, people say therapy is expensive because you have to pay for sessions. Yeah. But try not going for therapy and see how that affects you. Yeah, it's a big price to pay. Maybe to just mention that you do not have to wait until things are really bad for you to feel that now you need to go into therapy. It doesn't need to turn into alcoholism, into gambling, into other negative ways of coping with life. Yeah. You just need to be aware that I need a tool to help me cope, plan my life, and also how to just deal with situations. Yeah. So for me, therapy is a way of life. It's one of those things that you do as part of your daily things to do in your life, so that you take care of yourself as a whole.
Yeah, amazing. Before you give us your parting shot, I've just thought of something, and I think this is very important. That those people who the society know that this person has been going through some levels of depression, some levels of addiction. Maybe somebody is addicted to, was addicted to alcohol. They go through the process and all that. What is the best way to accommodate them in the society, even as they walk that journey, and even as they recover? How can we welcome them back to the society and just show support?
That's a good thing. As part of the society, we play a big role in someone's recovery or not recovery. Because it goes either way. So there's a part where someone has to hold themselves accountable, but that goes so far depending on how deep they are in their struggle. And that's not to stigmatize anyone, We all deal with situations differently. But as a community, we have something to play in this person's life. We're accountable to holding them, accountable to themselves. We to encourage them and to also be there for them, not digging them deeper or digging them back to where we are, not carrying the struggles as, you remember this and this used to happen. That is not necessarily. It's not necessarily in someone's journey of recovery. It's showing up for someone, holding them accountable and reminding them, there's life to be lived, there's life to be enjoyed. There's a journey further ahead is better than what we are leaving behind. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you have anything to add. That's amazing. Your parting shot as we close the show.
You don't have to wait until you're in a dark situation or in a space where you're struggling. You can always reach out. You can always talk to someone about your health. You can always hold yourself accountable to being a better human being.
Thank you so much, Winnie, for joining us today and for your insights. Indeed, that was very helpful to me, and I know to our listeners outside there. Yeah, so I think that's a wrap from us. Thank you for being part of this episode. And as always, remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to like, so that we can keep on talking about this conversation. Indeed, we are grateful, Winnie. Thank you. I'm looking forward to having you again so that we can talk about so many things. And I know mental health is a very broad topic. We'll have more discussion around this. But for this one, let's end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Success Ladder Podcast, and here we bring you stories that inspire the world. My name is Paul Bryan. Until next time.